Hi, I'm Bradley Simpson, and I want to do a super quick tutorial on how to paint on burlap canvases. These canvases are perfect for doing wildlife scenes, nature scenes, anything you'd like to have kind of a rustic flavor for. Be sure to watch all the way through because in this tutorial, I teach you how to use both acrylics and oils. So the first thing you need to do is prime your canvas. You do this by adding a generous layer of white gesso. This canvas, I use 4 to 5 heavy coats of it, and make sure that you leave a border along the edges. Otherwise, it completely defeats the purpose of having a burlap canvas. You want that border to show. And I like to leave ½ inch to an inch around the edges, depending on the size of the canvas. Once the white gesso has completely dried, you decide what medium you're going to use. In this case, I started the painting with acrylics. So they're applied the same way you would on a normal canvas. Even with the added gesso as your primer, burlap canvases are a lot rougher in texture than a store-bought canvas, and that's part of the charm of it. It gives it a more natural look overall. And so when you're painting with a burlap canvas, you want to make sure that you either use enough water in your mixture so the paint goes on smoothly, or even an extender. I'm using an extender on this painting. If you're not familiar what an extender is, it's a medium you apply before you begin painting, and it just helps the paint go on smoother. It slows the drying time. It makes the process much more like painting with oils. So just keep in mind, if you're having a hard time getting your paint to flow smoothly, just add a little more water. And here you see I'm adding the leaves, and I do this in degrees. I start with the darkest first, like our dark brown, and I'm adding a deep, rich orange color to the mix, and then I'll lighten it and I'll go even a little lighter color, and then even lighter, which is more of kind of an apricot yellow. And then for my highlights, I'm using a really soft cream yellow, where the sun, it's kind of a hazy day anyway, but there's maybe a little light coming through and it's making some of the leaves pop. This painting was inspired by a walk I took yesterday. I live in North Texas, and there was just some of the most beautiful countryside you can imagine around. And I came to an old stone bridge, and it was pretty dilapidated. It could still hold you. It was passable, but you wouldn't want to put too much weight on it or it would just fall right into the water. Now, I've been using acrylics, but now I'm going to switch over to oils because I want to show you how easily they apply to burlap canvas. And the oils kind of stand out when you're adding things like the stones and the highlights to the old bridge. And especially when I come to adding the reflections in the water, I find it so much easier to do that in a more realistic way when you add oils. It's doable with acrylics, but I just prefer oils for adding reflections in the water. And as you can see, even though the burlap is so much rougher than a smoother canvas, you can still get a very smooth water effect, just like crystal. If you apply the gesso right and then you go over with oils, you can really get a great effect. I've been using burlap canvases for a couple of years now, and I've done a few paintings using them, and it remains one of my favorite mediums. So please let me know what you think. Have you used burlap canvases before? Is it something you'd like to try in the future? If so, please leave me a comment. I'd love to hear all about it.